Hello dear friends, I have given priority to this recent information because of its importance. Opinion piece. Is the duck fleet fleeing Antarctica? Information revealed by Dr. Michael Salla. This could be due to a conflict with the Alliance. Draconians are also fleeing the area. They would be vacating the secret bases of the frozen continent. Many of those living speak German and are heading to Argentina. This would create a power vacuum that several nations are trying to fill. Chinese have been popping up everywhere, and a month ago there was not a single one. The Chinese have 5 bases in Antarctica and are stepping up for more. Turkey, too, has now been sending soldiers independently. More and more German-speaking people and people from other countries of the world are coming in. There is something in Antarctica, and everyone seems to want to get on it urgently. Everyone wants a piece of the pie because they have left formidable resources behind. Let's start. An exodus from their secret military bases of the frozen continent of the so-called German Duck Fleet in Antarctica, controlled by the Germans of the Fourth Reich and also controlled by the Draconians, is currently taking place. The Duck Fleet is being beaten by the Earth Alliance and the Galactic Federation on Earth, Mars, and in this star system, and the exodus from Antarctica was the proof that all this was real. Many of these Duck Fleet facilities used slave labor in clear violation of the Antarctic Treaty. This leak would be creating a power vacuum that different nations are trying to fill by building bases in Antarctica, according to Helena Dan, a former professional French archaeologist who claims to be in contact with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Her secret information comes from a current resident at the US McMurdo base who goes by the pseudonym Frank, and from Torham, according to an exopolitics article just published by the famous Dr. Michael Salla. Many have spoken of a growing military conflict with an alliance for Earth and the Galactic Federation. What is most striking is that a significant number of the personnel living in Antarctica speak German, are headed for South America, especially Argentina, as many had spoken of a Duck Fleet controlled by dissident Germans. On June 6, Elena received an email from Frank informing her of an unusually high number of people entering and leaving Antarctica throughout McMurdo, which is the largest base in Antarctica, and maintains a year-round shipping port throughout which transport ships arrive with personnel and supplies bound for the US and other national bases. According to Frank, the Chinese already have 5 bases here and are setting up for more immediately during the worst time of the year, the worst weather. There are Chinese everywhere down here, and until a month ago I never saw a single one. Also, Turkey has now been setting troops independently, and also some other countries from Africa and South America, because they all want to set up bases here, and I'm bringing the infrastructure to do so. Everyone seems to want to get involved as soon as possible in something here, so as to not be left out, and more German-speaking people are arriving, but the Spanish are not to be seen in these latitudes. Both China and Turkey are building new bases in Antarctica with China aiming to become the dominant presence there. The sudden influx of personnel and resources to Antarctica during the early winter months points to different countries trying to fill a newly created power vacuum. It would make sense that the Fourth Reich is handing over its Dark Fleet assets in Antarctica to countries most sympathetic to its agenda and political activities. China, Turkey, and countries in South America and Africa would be suitable candidates. As a result of the Dark Fleet being hit hard by the Alliance and the Federation, the German presence of the Fourth Reich in Antarctica is leaving their outpost to colonies outside the solar system, throughout a portal or jump gate. The draconic reptilians located in Antarctica are also leaving. Now there are formidable resources down there to be taken if all these bad guys leave, and the fact that everyone wants a piece of the pie now that the bad guys are on the run could also explain the sudden rush of all these countries to Antarctica. The Earth Alliance had been sending military troops to the South Pole for some time now to help drive out the bad guys, and this is also confirmed that increased activity of US soldiers going to the South Pole has been noticed in recent months. Aldebaran. Some very secretive groups in some governments know of the existence of such a portal at the South Pole, and now they want it, of course, from where they used to escape to other colonies like Aldebaran. But even Aldebaran is breaking away from the Antarctic group, since they secretly became the main headquarters of the Dark Fleet. Consequently, we should not be too surprised that the Dark Fleet today has a major base in Aldebaran star system, in addition to bases in our solar system such as Mars and the planetoid Ceres. This is especially if there is a portal for Antarctica to a planet in the Aldebaran star system. Aldebaran was the original stellar location from which the famous Maria Orsic had made contact with human-like Nordic extraterrestrials in the early 1920s. As a result of these communications, the first Brill space-time devices were built that could transport personnel to Aldebaran. After Hitler came to power in 1933 and took over the Brill space program, he entered into agreements with the draconic reptilian aliens, and the Nazi SS began building flying saucer craft armed for the war effort. Meanwhile, the most advanced aspect of the Brill and the Haunebu space programs moved to Antarctica to further develop interplanetary and interstellar craft. Future galactic tyranny. The Galactic Federation of Worlds sees Earth, the Moon and Mars as the epicenters of a future galactic tyranny, and subsequently wishes to free their respective populations from negative influences. A significant German Fourth Reich presence was established during World War II and has been maintained throughout subsequent agreements with the US and other major nations. In the following decades, the German bases in Antarctica expanded greatly with the influx of personnel and resources from the US and other countries that developed very large industrial manufacturing facilities for spacecraft to be supplied to the Dark Fleet, a large directed enterprise which Cory Good called the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, and the multinational insider space program. The dark side's effort to enforce its new world order would have allowed Dark Fleet operations to continue out of Antarctica indefinitely. The Fourth Reich's interest in the US presidency and its importance to continue that fleet operation was openly revealed when President Obama's then Secretary of State John Kerry visited Antarctica to the height of the November 2016 presidential election. Kerry's real purpose was to inform the Fourth Reich about the looming Trump presidency and to outline a master plan to remove Trump from power. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.